What up, everybody? Welcome to the channel. If you're new, don't be. Go ahead and click that subscribe button to be a part of the Witness gang, to join the Witness Nation. Now let's get into this, shall we? Hello, you guys, and welcome to the channel. If you're new, don't be.
I'm Whitney. Keep it cute, get the food.
All right, you guys, welcome back. This platform discusses any and all information that has been made known to the public in any way. I am not a journalist. I am a commentator. The views and opinions expressed in this video and on WhitneyD TV YouTube channel do not necessarily reflect the opinion of WhitneyD and WhitneyD's YouTube channel. All topics are for entertainment purposes only. Comedy, satire, TV, okay? Rated mature. Viewer discretion is highly advised, okay? Now, all commentary is alleged but very real, okay? And real indeed, okay? We are going to be reading the transcripts of the John Doe, baby, because on the contrary, this food had a very simple taste. Anybody could get it, okay? But on the contrary, he did not just damage the lives of females, he damaged the lives of little boys too. And so this is what this whole show is about, okay? Sorry, y'all. Hold on. Give me just a second. I gotta listen to the audio. 1 second. Let me make sure I'm sounding all right, okay? And we're gonna get everything started. Okay, see, the music is up too daggone loud, okay? I don't know. Let me turn that down. I don't care about a little bump, but god dang, that was a thump, okay? A little too loud, okay? A little too loud. Hey, everybody. Okay, hold on. Wait a minute. It's a 22. Wait, give me just a second, y'all. Give me just... All right, y'all. My bad. My bad, y'all. Hey, everybody. Happy Tuesday or whatever. Okay. Happy Tuesday. Okay. So let's go ahead and get into everything. Welcome, you guys, to Evidence Over Emotions. Where you guys tuning in from, please let me know in the chat, okay? All right, okay. And make sure you keep it cute, all right? Or you will get the boot, all right? Now, I know this is a sensitive topic, you know, when I get to talking about our smelly, but keep that to your damn self, okay? Or go onto your channel, okay? And have fun with that, all right? Over here, you're going to respect my authority, okay? All right? So that's what that means, okay? Keep it cute means you do not have to agree with what comes across, all right? But keeping it cute is just respecting it and just being like, you know what? I may not agree. I'm not going to go back and forth. I'm not going to act a fool. You don't want that. You don't want that, okay? Or you will get the boot, meaning that you're going to get kicked up out of here. Okay, we'll get you up out of here, all right? And we don't want that. It's a safe space over here. I pride myself on saying that. It's just respect. Okay? Respect, okay? All right, now, if you would like to join this channel, you can do so by clicking the link that is located in the description box upon the exit of this video. Or you can click the X in that chat, and right up under there, right below, it's a join button. And it's spelled out J-O-I-N. All right? Sometimes you got to spell stuff for people. Okay? And that's how you can join the channel. All right? Now, if you like to tip the hostess with the fastest, you can do so by sending me a super chat that's located in the chat box. Sometimes it'd be like, whoa, whoa, it's a dollar sign, and it'll be wah, wah. Or you can send me a Cashapp, okay, which is WhitneyD 87, okay? Just know that 100% of your support goes back into the channel, okay? So down below, you will see my Cashapp, you will see my Zelle, and you will see my PayPal, all right, okay? So if you don't have any of those things, I take EBT. No, I'm just playing. I don't. It's okay, okay? All right, but not for nothing, if you have a tip, if you would like to send me transcripts or something pertaining to this R.KELLY shenanigan, you can do so by sending it to ReviewswithWhitneyD@gmail.com. Anywho, and I know that's going to be pissing a lot of people off, but I don't care, okay? Not for nothing. Hello, you guys. Happy Tuesday, okay? Before we get into the comments and I say hi to everybody, I want to shout out my brand affiliates, okay? Starting from the Beats, okay? Shay Michelle Cosmetics did it, sure did, okay? All the cosmetics that I bring to you guys is always going to be sponsored by Shay Michelle Cosmetics, okay? It stays back there on the shelf. Yeah, this is no green screen. All right, this is real. All right, okay. All right. So yes, Shay Michelle Cosmetics and Louis Z Boutique on the lashes, San Antonio, okay? Now this is yummy on the lips, again from Shay Michelle Cosmetics. And shouts out to Suja Organics. I'm not sipping on it tonight, but I usually have it here, and you guys are going to hear more about that later on in the show, as well as Shazazz Creations, who usually and will continuously be the creator of our merch. Yes, we do have merchandise. You'll see the commercial about that later on this show as well, okay? But shouts out to 5 and Below, okay? I'm feeling nostalgic, okay? As if, all right? Yeah, so that's what I'm rocking on today. I just got on some little shorts, you know, okay? I'm just chilling tonight, okay? Just chilling, all right? Okay? So good evening, everybody, okay? Thank you. You could have been anywhere else and you decided to be here. Thank you guys so very much. Like, seriously, okay? Not for nothing. Like I said, we are reading the transcripts, okay? They called him Daddy too. The John Doe's of R.KELLY, okay? And we're going to meet Nephew, okay, on tonight, okay? But let's go ahead and get into this chat. Let me see who is all here. And then we're going to open up the show, okay? Hey, Flawless, beautiful, says, hey, Miss Whitney. Hey, Honey Bunches. Really, hey, says, hey, Whitney. It's really, a.k.a. Caramel Real. Hey, Caramel. See, I'm a little peanut butter. You know what I'm saying? And you know, I love me some caramel, though. Okay. Hey, Statesfield says, hey, my first time catching you live. Philly in the building, love. Oh, hey, I went to Philadelphia. Yeah, I went to a model call in Philadelphia for Wilhelmina. I sure did, and I got signed, but it was just too far. Yeah. So I was trying to change it. They had one located in El Paso, Texas, which was too far too. Okay, but not for nothing. Shouts out to Philadelphia in the building. Hey, Leslie. Hey, honey. Hey, everybody. Make sure y'all sharing this video. Okay, share this video. All right. Now, on the contrary, while I'm getting the transcripts pulled up, the reason why I wanted to start this whole series was that people don't realize that this man didn't just injure, this man didn't just abuse females. He abused men as well, sure did. And he actually treated them a lot nicer than he did the females. And on the contrary, if people want to call this man bisexual, I don't think so. I think R.KELLY, you're going to hear it first, is gay. I said it. I don't believe R. Kelly is bisexual. Are y'all not paying attention to what he did to every woman in his life? This man admired his mama. Okay, most little boys admire their daddies. This ninja admired his mama. Used to get the cup at McDonald's and turn around and put his lips up to her lipstick. Okay? Not just drink from the cup that his mama drunk from, but used to turn it around to the lipstick part. Take that in. Take that in. And would drink from the cup. So one would notice that 9 times out of 10, if you leave lipstick on your cup, it's gonna leave residue on your mouth, right? On the contrary, he also is a product of sexual abuse, okay? And that can do something to you, okay? We hear that it was his sister, but we also hear about a male that sexually abused him. And then we hear from his own brother that makes the statements that we all got this done to us. However, it seemed as though Kelly liked it. Robert liked it, right? And so one would think like, well, you know, so if you ask me, I don't think R. Kelly is straight or bisexual. I really think he's gay. He's homosexual. And the thing is that if you notice, even with Bonjean painted him as like, you know, a sex symbol. They made him a sex symbol. I don't know if y'all noticed that in the transcript. That's why I don't just read the transcripts just to be reading them. I dissect them. That's why I'm able to point out similarities in different victims to you guys, because I'm not just reading, I'm dissecting, right? And we followed this case to hear several times. Did this man, did we hear similarities in the transcripts? You need me, baby? Printer. It's under the table in the living room. I think all the cords and stuff are attached to. We're able to hear how disgusting and deprived, you know what I'm saying, that he did, the damage that he did to these girls versus these boys. I mean, we heard how he went crazy on Dominique allegedly for stealing allegedly a watch and I think money. But then we hear how Lewis here, okay, did the same thing in a sense of, I think, stole. He kept what was supposed to be bail money for Nephew, all right. And then we hear, that got brushed up under the table. Then we hear how he steals a video camera or a video or something like that, or something like that, and he was just asked to bring it back with no ramifications. Just stuff like that made me just inquire minds to like to know. Do you have a problem with females? Because you're dogging them out. You can't tell me not one woman that's been in R. Kelly's life, he did right. I'll wait while I'm going to be getting these transcripts up. And you tell me, name one. If anybody can put in the chat one female, just one, that's all I'm asking. One female you can put in the chat that this man did right to or right by, and you got me. I just need one. Hold on 1 second, y'all. Skate Wheel says it's not just all R. Kelly, that's all men. All men what? I'm confused. It's not just R. Kelly, it's all men. What do you mean by that? Because my question was, name one female R. Kelly did right in this whole ordeal. So I don't know what you mean by it's not just R. Kelly, it's all men. Let me know what you mean by that. Okay, and so y'all, while I'm waiting on that response, what I'm doing right now is I'm trying to see where we left off. If anybody remembers, because I haven't did this one in a minute. I haven't did They Call Him Daddy in a minute. So that's all I'm doing. I'm just going back to catch us up. I mean, not to catch us up, to go back to where we left off at. But yeah, if you can let me know what you meant by that. Okay. Okay, 1927. 1927 is where we left off at. Okay, cool. 1927. Somebody put that in the chat because I'm responding to Skate Will. Most men have no idea how to treat women. That's not my question, baby. And that's not true. See, a lot of individuals get hurt by men, get hurt by the church, get hurt by things, and then they center all churches, all men. I would have to disagree because I've run across some very good men in my life. And so I can't say that most men. So my question again, let me reiterate my question. R. Kelly, can you please, thank you, Flawless, thank you so much. Can you please tell me one woman that this man, R. Kelly, treated right, when it be it Drea, be it Azriel, be it Geronda, be it anybody? Can you please name one woman that we heard, well, out of all of this, he treated her good? Name one. I'm not talking about overall a generalization of men. I'm talking about R. Kelly. All right, so while we're waiting on that, I'm going to go ahead and pull up the transcripts. Sorry, y'all. Let me see. Skate says, but you run across some bad ones too, and I totally agree with you. He has not treated any of them right. I agree with that. Thank you. That's all. That's all. That was my point. Okay. That was my point. That's and I was stating that because of the series that I'm doing. I was basically saying that he didn't treat any of the females decent at all. Although he was sexually abusing these little boys as well, he treated them better than he did the females. That was my point. But thank you, Skate. Thank you. I was, and I, if you said something different, I wasn't going to shake you up. I just was trying to get clarity in your mindset. So I'm inquisitive. I ask a lot of questions, Chad. I don't mean no harm. Okay, let me go ahead and share my screen, and let's go ahead and get into these transcripts, because we're going to meet Nephew here soon. Okay, so 1927. Okay, let's get to it. 1927. Like I said, we all down there. See, we almost finished. Okay, we almost finished. Okay, that's 23, 27. Okay, so yeah, we about to meet Nephew here soon. We got like roughly, like, let me see, 28, 29, 31, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we got like 8 pages of this level, and we're gonna meet Nephew. Okay, so I got it on the screen. Okay, what have I got open? Okay. All right. So I am going to remove myself. I'm going to put myself back here. Okay. All right. You said, but that's not against the law. It is not against the law. What's against the law is the abuse. Okay. What's against the law is the abuse. All right. And it don't matter how old you are. You don't have the right to physically abuse anyone. Okay. So, and you see, I didn't even go to it being children also. I'm just talking about the abuse in general. You can be of an age. That don't mean that you shit and piss on people either. Okay. That's abusive. And that's illegal. You can't beat on people. You can't urinate on people. And furthermore, since we're going there with R.KELLY, you can't record yourself having sex with children. All right, Skate, I gave you the benefit of doubt. Hey, is it D Live for Christ? Hello, welcome. All right, let's go ahead and get into these transcripts, child. I'm gonna stop talking back and forth. Let's go ahead. Let's go. Okay. Now again, we're talking about Lewis. And just so it can be clear, it's this one right here. This one right here, all right? Okay, we're talking about him, but we're about to get on him. Okay, over there after these 8 pages, okay? All right. So let's go ahead and get into it. Let me finish. You were asked on cross-examination about the individual at the McDonald's who the defendant wanted you to put in contact with you when you first met him. Do you recall those questions? Yes. Who was the individual that you recall the defendant wanting to meet that day? Valerie. And do you remember her last name? No. And what do you remember about her? I just remember she was my manager at the time. And aside from her name, which you recall as Valerie, do you remember anything else? Just a Hispanic, beautiful young lady. Fair to say, though, you don't remember much about her other than the fact that she was your manager. Yes. You were asked on cross-examination about whether you understood that it was a crime to lie to the government. Do you recall those questions? Yes. Do you also understand it's not a crime to make a mistake with the government? Yes. Mr. Koenig. Objection. The judge. Overruled. You were asked on cross-examination about statements you made about the age in which you met the defendant. Do you recall those questions? Yes. And were you expecting to get arrested on the day that you were arrested in this case? No, Mr. Kennedy. Objection, the judge. Overruled. And have you prepared for the fact that you might get arrested and you might be asked about your relationship with the defendant prior to that day? No. And when you were asked, or when you told the government, the agent who arrested you, about when you first met the defendant, do you remember that you met him in high school? Yes. Did you remember the particular year in high school? No. And over the course, you spoke with the government on multiple occasions, correct? Correct. And during the course of those conversations, how was it that you were able to determine that you met him when you were a senior in high school? Because I remember showing my friends in my senior year of high school the picture of him in class, in my DECA class. And you mentioned a DECA class. What is DECA? It's a job program where you get released early from school so you can go to work. And what year did you take the DECA class? My senior year. And did that help you to identify the point in time when you first met the defendant? Yes. You were asked on cross-examination about the fact that you offered money to a prospective witness. Do you recall those questions? Yes. And you testified on direct that the defendant had no participation in that, correct? Correct. You weren't going to pay if the witness had agreed to separate money. You weren't going to pay that money, were you? No. And were you going to were you hoping to get it from somebody else? Yes. Prior to your arrest in this case, who, if anyone, had you told about what happened between you and the defendant when you were 17 years old? No one. Had you told your wife? No. Had you told your friends? No. Is this easy for you to discuss here today? No. Why not? Just going to be looked at different. What do you mean by that? People might think I'm bisexual. And prior to your testimony today, had you talked with anybody aside from the people we just talked about your having a sexual relationship with another man? Yes. Who is that? My wife. But before you started cooperating, had you had that discussion? Oh, no. Okay. So prior to your arrest, had you had that discussion about having a sexual relationship with a man, with anyone else? No. No further. Nothing further. Any recalls? Yes, briefly, Your Honor. The government just went over your statement that you made to them in one of your proffer sessions. Isn't it a fact that you told the agent and the prosecutors who were in that room that day, Candy, who worked security for Kelly, was at the gate? Like I said normally she did the gate. I am going to ask you to read and stop at the first sentence. Read where it says Candy and stop at the end of the first sentence. Candy, who works security for Kelly, was at the gate. Read it again. And loud this time. Candy, who worked security for Kelly, was at the gate. Candy, who worked security for Kelly, was at the gate. That's what you told them, right? That's what this paper say. Well, you were the one who was giving the information. Were you not? Ms. Kitty's objection. I said normally afterwards. Okay. Thank you, sir. Before you said normally, you said she was at the gate. If I'm correct, I said normally. Your Honor, I'm going to offer this into evidence. Well, I do not think you can just offer that. Why don't you get the relevant portion? Okay, we can talk about that in a little while. Sure. Do you have any further questions, this witness? Yes, I do. I have a few more. Okay. And you were asked a short while ago about the devices that were used. You were the one who told the government that Kelly used iPads when you were 17 or 18. Am I correct? I don't remember the dates, but it was a camcorder used in an iPad. Isn't it a fact that you told the government that as you got older and was 17 or 18, Kelly recorded you on iPads? Isn't it that what you told government in one of the proffer sessions? Yes. Now, the government just asked you a short while ago if you were aware that the calls that you were making to the person you were trying to rob, if you were aware that those calls were recorded. You were not aware of that. Am I correct? Correct. Because you would not dare to try to offer a bribe if you knew the calls were recorded. Am I correct? Correct. In fact, you were shocked when you heard that. Am I correct? Correct. But you knew that you were committing a crime when you were doing it. Am I correct? Correct. And you were committing that crime to try to benefit yourself. Am I correct? Correct. Your Honor, I think the person who gave the government the name of the young lady who Kelly asked you to hook him up with, you were that person. Am I correct? Yes. And you were the one who told the government that the person's name was violent. Am I correct? Yes. If I can get in agreement with the government on something, do we have to do this now? I want to finish with the witness, then figure out what we can get in agreement on. We can do it that. We can do that, Judge. I'm done with this witness. Anything else? No, Judge. The witness will step down. Thank you so much. Thank you, Your Honor. Whereupon the witness was excused. Are you ready to call your next witness? Cruz Melendez, we are, Your Honor. The government calls Suzette Mayweather. Okay. Now, and it continues with Mayweather, but now we are about to be introduced to Alex. Yes. Okay. So let me go ahead and open up that. Okay. Let me go ahead and remove that from the screen. Okay. Let me see what y'all are saying so far. Jody says, I think the only woman he loved was his mom. Well, they said that he even put a tombstone on his mama gravesite. He didn't want to pay for it or something like that, child. Republic Rat says, hi, everyone. Hi. Pray for the salvation of R.KELLY's soul in Jesus' name. Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. Absolutely. We need to pray for his soul. Okay. All right. Let me go ahead and get the transcripts pulls up, and we're going to meet Alex, okay? Yeah, but absolutely we have to pray for his soul because he's going to need it. Okay, let me go ahead and get. Hope y'all are doing okay. We got roughly like 30 minutes. I'm going to give you 30 minutes of this. All right, here we go. Okay, let me share my screen. I'm just getting up to the first page or whatever. Okay. And y'all get to hear when R. Kelly met this baby too. Okay. All right. Okay. Here we go. Hey, Jean. Hey, honey bunches. I'm great. How are you? Okay. Let me go ahead and share my screen. And let's go ahead and get into this second read. And we are going to meet Alex. Okay, let's meet Alex. All right. Now, those that don't know who Alex is the little character that y'all see in your right corner that has on the plaid shirt. Okay. Now we're going to meet the second. Okay. The second. All right. Little boy. Okay. Named Nephew. All right. But he's going as Alex on here. Okay. This is the second John Doe of R. Kelly. All right. This is the second little boy that he abused. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and get into it. All right. You may be seated. You can take your mask off. All right. Just a couple of things before we begin. I want to make sure the jury can hear you and that our court reporter can take down everything that you say. So please speak into the microphone and speak slowly. Okay. If there is a question that you want to have clarified or repeated, let me know. And I will tell the lawyer to rephrase it. Okay. Just that same thing about making sure the court reporter can take everything down. Just do not talk over whichever lawyer is asking you questions, and do your best just to answer the question you are being asked. Okay. Okay. Let's make sure the microphone is on. Just tap it. There's a button there. Try now. It's on. Cannot hear you. That is good. All right. So pull it a little bit closer to you. Great. Go ahead. Alexis, having been first duly sworn, was examined and testified as follows. Good afternoon. Hi. I'm sure the witness only what's been marked for identification as Government Exhibit 63. Do you recognize what's shown in 63? Yes, that's myself. Is that a photo of you? Yes. The government offers 63. No objection. All right. No objection. All right. It's in. It is in. And then I'm showing the witness only what's been marked for identification as 63A. Does 63A show that same photograph in the government exhibit 63? Yes. And beneath that, is that your true first and last name? It is. The government offers 63A and asks that it be published just to the jury. Any objection? None. Okay, we can publish it just to the jury. For today, I am just going to refer to you as Alex. I'm going to say Alex. It's Alexis. Okay? Okay? Okay. How old are you? 31. When is your birthday? July 9, 1990. Are you employed? I am. What do you do? I am a registered nurse. And where were you raised? In what city? Jacksonville, Florida. And keep your voice up. Okay. That is much better. Thanks. Okay. Did you graduate with your high school class? I did not. What happened? I dropped out and then I later obtained my GED. And how old were you when you stopped going to high school before you got your GED? I was probably 16, 17. And after getting your GED, did you continue your education? I did. And are you still in school today? I am. What are you in school for? For a nurse practitioner, my master's of science in nursing. And did you previously get your bachelor's degree in nursing? I did. I am showing what's in evidence as Government Exhibit 1. Do you recognize the individual shown in Government Exhibit 1? Yes, I do. Who is that? The defendant, R.KELLY. And do you see him in court today? Yes, I do. Can you point to him and describe an article of his clothing? He has a blue tuxedo on. Let the record reflect that the witness has identified the defendant. Yes. Do you personally know the defendant, R.KELLY? I do. Where did you first meet him? Jacksonville, Florida. And where was it that you met him in Jacksonville? It was at a concert. Do you remember who the headliner of the concert was? Who was headlining it? Hold on, y'all. Sorry about that, y'all. I had to take a drink. Do you remember who the headliner of the concert was? Who was the headliner of it? I believe it was him at the Light It Up tour. Do you recall when the concert took place? It was sometime in 2006. And how old were you at the time of the concert? I believe 15, turning 16 that year. And approximately how old was the defendant? Oh, I don't know. Who did you attend the concert with? Family and a friend, my mother, my uncle, and then one of my good friends. Whose idea was it to attend the concert? It was kind of a collective idea, but mostly my mom. And would you describe yourself as a fan of the defendant's music back in 2006? Yes, I would. Where in the venue uh, were you sitting? In the front row. What, if any, interaction did you have with the defendant or his associates that night? We were asked to come backstage and we kind of hung out for the night. Went to a club called the Leopard Lounge, and then later went to IHOP. You said you were asked to go backstage. Do you recall how you were asked to go backstage? It was some man. Taken that it was someone from his entourage. And how did that individual go about asking you to come backstage? He just walked up to me and Elizabeth and stated that Rob wanted us to meet him in the back. And you just referenced Elizabeth. Is that your good friend who you went to the concert with as well? Yes. And you testified earlier that you went backstage. Who initially went backstage? It was just myself and Elizabeth at first, but then it was my family after that. And what, if any, interaction did you have with the defendant when you and your friend Elizabeth first went backstage? We just talked about the show. And then he asked who we were there with. I told him I was there with my family, and then he invited them backstage with us. And did your family then go backstage? Yes. You mentioned that after speaking with the defendant backstage, you went somewhere else. Is that correct? Yes. We stayed there for, I don't recall the amount of time, but we were playing cards, eating, and then we left to go to the club after that. And what was the name of the club where you went? Leopard Lounge. And who went to the club with you? We all did. To include your family and your friend Elizabeth? Yes. As well as the defendant? Yes. Where, if anywhere, did you go after going to the club? IHOP. The restaurant. And do you remember who went to the IHOP? We all did. And again, with your mom. And did you say it was your stepfather? Yes. What, if any, arrangements did you make to communicate with the defendant after that night? I had just told him that I would be calling him, and he informed me that he was going to be at the Avenues Mall the next day. And how were you going to get in contact with him? Via cell phone. Did he give you his number? Yes. And did you, in fact, call the defendant? I did. And did you make arrangements to see him again? I did. Where did you arrange to see him? The next day that I saw him was the day after the concert at the Avenues Mall. And do you remember how you got to the Avenues Mall that day? Yes. By car. Did you go by yourself or with somebody else? Elizabeth took me. And at the time, did you have your driver's license? I may have had my permit. I'm not sure if I had my license at that time. You were 15 years old at the time. So it would have been permit. Okay. Where within the Avenues Mall did you arrange to meet the defendant? I met him on the tour bus. Sounds drastically familiar. Makes an arrangement, not with mommy, daddy, family this time. Not even with the friend. The friend drops you off. Only to meet on the tour bus, not in the mall. That's cute. But in the tour bus sprinter, probably. Sounds familiar. How many of you guys can remember who else he met outside of the place that they were supposed to meet at in a bus? Pattern, baby. Same pattern, boo-boo. And do you remember where the tour bus was parked? Just in the parking lot of the Avenues Mall? Yes, ma'am. When you arrived at the mall, was the defendant on the tour bus? He was not. What did you do when you arrived? I got to the tour bus. I let him know that I was there, and he told me to just go on the bus and wait for him, and that he was coming. He was finishing up shopping. Approximately, did you eventually see the defendant that day? I did. Approximately how long was it before you saw the defendant? It may have been an hour, maybe two, but I wasn't really sure. And where did you eventually see the defendant? On the tour bus? Do you remember whether anyone else was on the tour bus with you and the defendant? No, it was just us. And what, if anything, was your friend Elizabeth doing while you were waiting on the tour bus? She was waiting for me. She might have went inside briefly, but she was just waiting for me to get done. And when you said she might have went inside, did she ever come inside the tour bus? No, inside the mall. Okay. What happened when the defendant arrived on the tour bus itself? He walked in, and then we kind of just generally talked about the next city that he would be going to, and then I signed a non-disclosure. Oh, sign a NDA. How did it come to be that you signed a non-disclosure? He just told me that I should never take pictures, and I just was told to sign it, so I did. Everything okay, baby? Sorry, y'all. I thought I was unmuted. Did you receive a copy of that non-disclosure agreement? I did not. And were you asked to provide any information when you signed that non-disclosure agreement? No. Do you recall having a discussion with the defendant about your age? Yes, I may have. But his general response was just, there's nothing wrong with platonic friendship at that time. And then if it turns into something over time, then so be it. At any point, Did you hide your true age from the defendant? No. Do you recall um, what topics you discussed when the defendant on with the defendant on the tour bus? I don't. I believe it was just where he was going next. How, if at all, did you communicate with the defendant after you saw him on the tour bus at the Avenues Mall? I would call him or text him via cell phone. It was just random. Did you eventually see the defendant again? I did. Do you have a clear memory as to the next time or next location where you saw the defendant? I do not. Did you ultimately have a sexual relationship with the defendant while you were still in your teens? When I was in my teens, I'm not sure, like 18 or over. I don't really recall when the first relation was between me and him. Do you remember where you were when you first had sexual contact with the defendant? In Chicago. Where in Chicago? His home in Olympia Fields. And did you ultimately travel to Chicago to see the defendant at his home in Olympia Fields? I did. On one occasion or more than one occasion? More than one occasion. And when you did travel to see the defendant in Chicago, how often would you have sexual contact with him during those trips? It would be kind of random. Sometimes it was, we didn't have sexual intercourse, but it was usually related to something that came up in between menstrual cycle or he was busy. When you saw the defendant and you were not on your menstrual cycle, did you have sexual contact with the defendant? Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Time out. Wait a minute. This ain't Alex. This ain't Nephew. My bad, y'all. Oh, hell no. We've been reading this the whole damn time, and this ain't even who Nephew is. Child. Wait a daggone minute. Oh, hell no. Wait a minute. Oh, no. God dang it. No. Wait a minute. And I'm up here reading. Oh, no. No. I am upset. Oh, no. I am upset about this. Here we go. Oh, ain't this it? Alex? I knew it was wrong. I'm like, Alex. It is Alex, but Alexis, they did. Y'all, I am so upset about this. I am so sorry. It is an Alex. I knew it was. I'm like, Alexis? That's not it. But I was like, well, maybe they got it wrong. Y'all. And we have been going on a whole damn hour. I'm so upset. Child. Oh, dang, with it. Damn. Oh, y'all, I'm so sorry. Oh, I am so sorry. Here go Alex right here. Oh, God. I'm upset. I was wondering, I'm like, Okay, I'm gonna give y'all, it's been an hour, but I'm gonna give y'all a true good 30 minutes of the real Alex. I'm sorry, y'all. Because here it is right here. Here's Alex, y'all. Let's go ahead and meet him. Oh, let me give y'all a good 30 minutes. I'm sorry, y'all. But here's Alex right here. What the heck? Oh, okay. Here we go, Chair. I'm sorry, y'all. Okay, so mark this down. Page 3322. 3322. That's where Alex really starts. Y'all that are tuning in, y'all tuning in well. Because now we're really about to hear about Alex. I got a good 30 minutes of this, y'all. I'm sorry. All right. Please stand and raise your right hand. Alex, called as a witness, having been first duly sworn, affirmed, was examined, and testified as follows. And we're going to skim through this. All right. Alex says, hello. Okay, good. All right, so speaking to the microphone, our court reporter is taking down everything that you said. Okay. Okay, we're going to skim through all this. That's just a judge telling him to, to be able to talk into the mic and all. So we already know that. We clearly know. We already heard it from Alexis, okay? Anyways. Oh, gosh darn it. Here we go, y'all. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. I'm showing you what's in evidence as Government Exhibit 68. Do you recognize the person in this photograph? Yes. And who is this in photograph of? Myself. I'm showing the witness only what's been marked for identification as Government Exhibit 68A. Is the same photograph of you with your true first and last name? Yes, it is. I move to admit Government Exhibit 68A to the jury only. Any objection? None. Okay, that's in evidence. And may we publish it to the jury only? Now, for purposes of your testimony here today, we're going to refer to you as Alex. There we go. Okay? Yes. I'm showing you what's been marked for identification as Government Exhibit 68B. Is this the same photograph with your name, Alex, underneath? Yes. I move to admit Government Exhibit 68B. No objection. Okay. It's in evidence. And may we publish it? Yes. Okay. Go ahead. Thank you. How old are you? 31. And when were you born? February 13th, 1990. Is that February 13th, 1990? Yes, ma'am. And in what neighborhood did you grow up? In the south suburbs of Chicago. What neighborhood was that? Hazelcrest. Now, where did you go to high school? Hillcrest High School. And when did, y'all, I'm going to skim through this since we are so behind. And when did you graduate from Hillcrest High School? 2008. And after high school, did you continue your education? Yes, some college. And after college, after high school and some college, did you work? Yes. What kind of work did you do? After high school, I immediately, I was working at McDonald's after high school. And do you recall where the McDonald's that you worked at was? Markham, Illinois. Now, are you currently employed? Yes. What kind of work do you do? Construction. And do you also have your own business? Yes. What kind of business? Clothing line. I'm showing you what's in evidence as Government Exhibit 1. Do you recognize this person? Yes. Who do you recognize this to be? Mr. Kelly. Do you know his full name? Robert Sylvester Kelly. And have you met Robert Kelly before? Yes. Do you see him in the courtroom here today? Yes. And can you please point him out and identify by an article of clothing he's wearing? What? Oh, right there in the gray, indicating. Now, what stage in your life were you in when you first met the defendant? I was a teenager in high school. And approximately how old were you when you first met him? Approximately 16. What grade were you in high school? When I met the defendant, a junior. And apart from here today in the courtroom, approximately when was the last time you saw the defendant? 2019. Here recently. Okay? Now, do you recall where you were when you first met the defendant when you were a junior in high school? Yes. At a party at his residence in Olympia Fields. And over the years, did you go to the defendant's Olympia Fields residence multiple times? Yes. I'm showing you what's in evidence as Government's Exhibit 502A. Do you recognize this? Yes. What is this? The gates of Olympia Fields residence of Mr. Kelly. Is this is gate to enter the residence? Yes. Now, over the years, approximately how many parties did you attend at the defendant's Olympia Fields residence? Upwards of like 9. Now, you testify you first met the defendant at the party at the Olympia Fields residence. Without saying the person's name, did you go with someone to the party? Yes, my best friend at that time. I'm showing you what's in evidence as Government Exhibit 64. Do you recognize this person? Yes. And without saying his full name, do you know his full name? Yes. I'm showing the jury only what's in evidence as Government's Exhibit 64A. Is this the same photograph with his individual's full name written underneath? Correct. Now, for purposes of your testimony here today, we're going to refer to the individual in the photograph that I just shown you as Lewis, okay? Yes. And now I'm showing you what's in evidence. I'm showing everyone what's in evidence as Government's Exhibit 64B. Is this the same photograph with the name Lewis underneath? Yes. Now, you testified that you went with your best friend at the time to the party where you first met the defendant at Olympia Fields. Is that right? Correct. And was Lewis your best friend at that time? Yes. And did you live in the same neighborhood? Yes. And did you go to high school together? Yes. Was Lewis the same age as you? 1 year older. And was he in the same class as you in high school? No, 1 year above me. So when you were a junior, he was a senior. Correct. How was it that you ended up going to the party at the Olympia Fields residence with Lewis? Lewis got invited and he invited me also to come with him. Did you understand that Lewis had already met the defendant before you? Correct. And where did Lewis work where you guys were in high school? McDonald's. Do you recall which McDonald's he worked at? Markham, Illinois. And what, if any, understanding did you have about how Lewis had met the defendant? Through a drive-through at McDonald's. At which McDonald's? In Markham, where Lewis was working. Yes. I'm showing you Government's Exhibit 522A and 522B. Do you recognize these photographs? Yes. It's the McDonald's in Markham. And is that the McDonald's that Lewis worked at? Yes. when you were in high school. Yes, that's correct. Now, you testified earlier that you recall first meeting the defendant at the party at Olympia Fields when you were 16 during your junior year of high school. Do you recall approximately what time of year it was when you attended the first party? Around 2007, January-ish. And your birthday is in February, correct? Correct. Now, when you got to the defendant's residence at Olympia Fields, well, actually, withdraw. Do you recall how you got to the residence for the party that first time? My best friend at that time. Okay. And what happened when how did you physically get in the party, if you recall? We had to go to a Holiday Inn and get shuttled over to the party. A shuttle. Is that what you say? Yes. Okay. And what do you mean by shuttle? Well, we go to the Holiday Inn and just tell them we all get on the shuttle to the residence of Mr. Kelly's. So was that just a bus transporting people? Correct. From the hotel nearby to the residence. Yes. And after you got to the residence, what if anything happened? Just a live party. Okay. And did you have to go through any security or anything before you got in? Yes. Around the side there, they was doing waivers and checking IDs. And did anyone check your ID? No. Did anyone ask you to sign a waiver? No. Did you see that happen to others? Yes. Now, once you got to the party, what was the atmosphere like? It was real nice. Nice music, good time. People was dancing, And was any alcohol being served? Yes. And what was the gender makeup of the party? 98% women, 2% men. Now, at that first party, did you speak to the defendant at that party? Just a casual brief greet. And how did that come about? My best friend at the time introduced me, Lewis. Yes. And how long was that interaction with the defendant? Very brief. It was very brief. After that first party, did you attend other parties at Olympia Fields? Yes, I have. And what kinds of parties did you attend at the defendant's Olympia Fields residence? Album release party, birthday parties, regular Saturday, Friday night parties. And when you say birthday parties, for whose birthday? Mr. Kelly, the defendant. Yes. And who, if anyone, do you recall attending those parties with you? My best friend, Lewis. My best friend, Lewis. Lewis. Uh-huh. You mentioned album release parties. Do you recall any specific album release party you attended at Olympia Fields? Double Up album release party. And was that the defendant's album, Double Up? Yes. And approximately when did you attend the Double Up album release party? The spring of 2007. And were you still a junior in high school at that time? Yes. Going into my senior year, but I was still a junior, yes. So it was towards the end of your junior year. Yes. And do you recall speaking with the defendant at the party? Yes. What, if anything, do you recall about that conversation with the defendant? He slipped me his number. Oh, he slipped me his number. A 17-year-old boy. He slipped a 17-year-old boy his number. Okay. And how did he slip you his number? Just bought a piece of paper in his hand and he slapped it in my hand. And at some point, did you look at what was on the piece of paper? Correct. And what was on the piece of paper? His phone number. And how was it written? It was handwritten. Handwritten? Yes. Did you have a cell phone when you were in high school? Yes. And was your cell phone in your name or someone else's name? My brother-in-law's name. And without saying his name, do you recall your brother-in-law's name? Yes. Correct. I'm showing you what's been marked for identification at Government Exhibit 969. Do you recognize this? Yes. Is that your brother-in-law's name? Correct. I moved to Government Exhibit 969. Not a problem. Okay. And may we publish it to the jury only. And your sister, when you were in high school, was this person your brother-in-law already, or was he seeing your sibling? I believe they was married already. Okay. And was he married to your sister? Correct. Now, did your brother-in-law know the defendant personally? Objection. Overruled. Did your sister know the defendant personally? No. Now, when the defendant, I'm sorry, withdraw. When the defendant gave you his phone number, I think you testified you were toward the end of your junior year in high school, correct? Correct. And at that time, how did the defendant giving you his phone number make you feel? Feel pretty good, you know, getting a number from a celebrity, you know, his status, it made me feel really good. Now, after the defendant gave you his phone number, at some point, did you communicate with the defendant by phone? Yes. In what manner? He just wanted me to keep in contact with him. So through text, you know, just make sure I, you know, just check up on him, on me. He would check up on you, on you? Yeah. And you said that was mainly through text. Is that right? Yeah. And I would check up on him. Oh, yeah. And I would check up on him. We would also check up on each other. Now, other than seeing the defendant at parties at his residence in the Olympia Fields, did you also see him at other times? Yes. And what other places did you see the defendant in? And let me ask you it this way. When you were, when he was still living at Olympia Fields, what other places would you see the defendant? At his residence or at the rec center where he plays ball. Around that time, that was pretty much it. Okay, and when you say ball, do you mean basketball? Yes. And do you recall where the rec center was, where the defendant played basketball when he was living in Olympia Fields? Markham, Illinois. And did you attend those basketball games? Correct. And About how far was the Markham Rec Center where the defendant played basketball from from the defendant's house, Olympia Fields? No less than 5 other than 10 minutes. Okay. And is that driving? Yes, just straight shot. Now I'm showing you government's exhibit 523. What's in evidence? Government's exhibit 523A, B, and C. Do you recognize these photographs? Yes, that's the rec center in Markham, where the defendant played basketball, correct? And how often, about how many times did you attend basketball games at that rec center where the defendant was playing? 2 or 3 times. And did you ever play during any of those basketball games? Not there. I played once with him before, but not at that one. At a different location. Yes. After he left Olympia Fields, did you also see the defendant play basketball somewhere else? Yeah. He used to play at a church in the city of Chicago. I'm sorry, my watch just started speaking to me. I apologize. All right. I'm sorry. Where else did you see at a church in the city of Chicago? And was there a basketball court there? Yes. And did you see the defendant play basketball multiple times there? Yes. And I think you testified that's where you also played in one basketball game. Yes. And how did you generally learn about the basketball games when they were played at the Markham Rec Center? My best friend Lewis at the time, he would let you know about them. Yes, he would go play. And what were these basketball games like? Pretty much Kelly ball. You get the rebound, pass it to him, let him shoot. And you called that Kelly ball? Is that what you called it? Yes. Okay. Now, other than you, what other types of people did you see who attended the defendant's basketball game? Y'all, we got 2 more pages. Probably, 2 more pages, and we're going to cut off there and continue next week. You had the regular ongoing watchers. You had the hoopers that got invited, and you had, his lady friends you would have. And when you say the hoopers that got invited, did you mean other players? Yes. And you said you also saw ladies there. Is that right? Yeah, his lady friends. Do you mean the defendants? Yes. From where, if anywhere, did you see the defendant's female friends watch the games? Apart from everyone else. Apart from everyone else. Is that what you said? Yes. Correct. Last page, you guys. And was everyone, when you were there, at least, were those men? Yes. Now, during those earlier days when the defendant still lived at Olympia Fields, when would you would go to the parties at Olympia Fields and basketball games in Markham, did you see or meet any of the defendant's employees or associates? Yes. I'm showing you what's in evidence as Government Exhibit 4. Do you recognize this person? Yes. Who is this? I think they call him Junebug. And do you know what, if any, role Junebug had with the defendant? A personal assistant, someone like his right-hand guy for different matters. I'm showing you Government's Exhibit 31. Do you recognize this person? Yes, I believe his name is Tom. I'm not sure. He was an assistant for Kelly. I'm showing you what's in evidence as Government's Exhibit 21. Do you recognize this person? Yes. Who is that? All right, you guys, we're going to end it right there. Those that are keeping notes, we left off on page 330, 3341. Sorry, y'all. All time tongue twisters. But what I was going to say is mark down in the chat 3342, because that is where we're going to continue on next week, you guys. Okay. So there you have it. We met Alexis and Alex. Child, I'm sorry about that, y'all. I was just I was looking at that and I was just like, this is sounding different, from what I'm accustomed to reading in the transcripts. And I was just like, you know what? Maybe it's gonna clear up on down the line. Chad, I do apologize, but not for nothing, y'all. That is the video in regards to they called him Daddy 2. The John Doe's of R.KELLY series. And like I said, I really just wanted to open up this series because he didn't just abuse young girls. He abused young boys. And on the contrary, he treated them a lot better, as we just heard. And we're going to get further into what Nephew, we're going to suit here, what Nephew experienced. And like I was about to say, as we just heard, he depicted how the girls sat at the basketball court, aside from everybody. Like they were over there while the men freely could move around, could do what they do. They had some semi-restrictions, but for the most part, the men could roam around his house freely, could do a lot of stuff freely, could smash on the girls. You know what I'm saying? He did those girls dirty. He also, however, did abuse these young boys. And on the contrary, like we was discussing earlier, that's nothing wrong in regards to the legalities of everything by him being gay. But the issue is, again, it's illegal to mess with any child that's male or female under the consenting age. And as we're hearing, both of these John Does were not of consenting age, period. They slowly progressed into consenting age, but they did not start at consenting age when they met R. Kelly, and as you're going to hear, when they start being sexually active with R. Kelly, okay? And that's illegal, all right? But on the contrary, they were not in this trial as victims. They were witnesses. They were subpoenaed. As you heard, or as you heard from Lewis, he didn't want to be there, all right? He just broke the information to his wife because he had to corroborate. He got subpoenaed, as we heard that, which is trifling. Okay, which is trifling. I'm sorry, this is a side note, but I want to know if you engaged in any kind of homosexual activity as a straight woman. Okay, period. I just wish I was a fly on the wall of his wife's bedroom. Okay, to hear how she reacted. And furthermore, I wonder if they're still married. But on the contrary, you guys, that is the video. Thank y'all so very much for tuning in to another installation of Evidence Over Emotions. They called him Daddy 2, all right? The John Does of R. Kelly. We are going to conclude. I'm intrigued to see and to hear about the first encounter of these Nephew with R. Kelly, because that's what we're going to hear next. We heard how he met R. Kelly. Now we're going to hear the interactions of that, okay? Before we get out of here, shouts out again to all of my brand affiliates from Suja Organic Juice, as well as Shea Michelle Cosmetic, Louis Z Boutique, Shazazz Creations, and Crave Dior, all right? Boutique as well. Thank you guys so very much for tuning in to installation of They Called Him Daddy 2. And we're going to pick up next week, and I look forward to seeing you guys then. Thank you guys so very much. And until next time, I'll see you later on Whitney D TV. Deuces.
Welcome, everybody.
Welcome, everybody. I'm Whitney D of WhitneyD TV and the producer of When Time Stopped. And I am here to let you guys know that we are casting for When Time Stopped 2, a docuseries on childhood sexual abuse. Now, myself, along with 3 other individuals, told our stories, but we want to hear from you. Now, are you ready to tell your story? Are you a survivor? Or are you a parent? We would like to hear from you. Here's how you can submit.
When Time Stopped 2, now casting. Seeking female and male adults ready to share their story of sexual abuse or parents of a child or children that have suffered from sexual abuse, and you are ready to speak about your journey. Email your story and contact information to whitneydavisplanning@gmail.com.
Suja, meaning long, beautiful life, embodies the promise that flows from the cold-pressed beverages it delivers in each and every bottle. Now today they carry on their founder's mission to get the best quality, organic, and non-GMO beverages into as many hands as possible. Now, I am happy to say I am one of those hands. Yes, I'm Whitney D of WhitneyD TV, and I am a proud ambassador of Suja Juice. I love, personally, their vibrant probiotic juice, and their immunity elderberry shots got me and my family through the roughest times of COVID-19. Now, if you want to find a quick and resourceful way to take on all of your vitamins and nutrients, try sujajuice.com. Visit the description box down below to get more information and let them know that Whitney D or WhitneyD TV sent you. Bye.
Sujajuice.com, okay? And you can actually pick up this juice at any of your retail stores, Walmart or Whole Foods. I am a brand ambassador, okay? Sujajuice.com, okay?
What up, what up? Hey, lovelies. We are now on Apple Podcasts. Yes, yes, yes. For my iPhone users, just a little something for you. Head over to the Apple Podcast app and type in WhitneyD TV in the search bar and click the check to add me to your dashboard and listen to your girl on the go. Powered by Anchor FM by way of Spotify.